Hey, here we are, another class. All right, exciting stuff, right? Yeah. And what are we going to do today? Well, in our 2B class, we're going to do just a tiny bit of housekeeping, and then we're going to do a little bit of review because we introduced so much stuff last class, right? Talking about relative, mixed, and absolute references, date functions, if statements, and the new stuff today we're going to look at is lookup functions, specifically VLOOKUP, and the PMT function or the payment function, that financial function. So here we go, and let's just review just a little bit here and say that, hey, what are we trying to do here? We're trying to develop capacities to deal with technology, to deal with this Excel thing we're doing. How are we going to do that? Well, we're going to acquire the skills by reading the textbook, right? Reading the summary, watching the videos. Then we're going to apply that in practice with the simulation and the project, the homework, right? We gotta learn that first. We can't practice what we don't know, and so you need to do that on your own. I mean, not on your own, but you need to be doing this work, and there's so much available to you for help on that stuff, right? So you can do it with the My IT Lab resources, and you can also get out there and you can just get things on like YouTube and all the online stuff, the stuff at Microsoft.com. There's a million ways for you to figure this stuff out there. You're not really on your own. You just need to do the work yourself so you can develop these skills, right? And then there's going to be the testing part of it, right down here, the lab and the quiz, right? Specifically the lab, right? And remember, this is a pass no pass class, and so the zeros are how people fail this class, not late work or just low scores. It's the zeros. When somebody fails this class, it's because they don't turn things in. Okay. What are we doing here? We're going to say that we've got we just said this. We said we got to learn this first, right? And you can get a lot of help online, YouTube, lots of resources out there. YouTube is really my favorite way to do it. And then you do the homework, right? And you figure this stuff out. I don't get a lot of this, but I like to say it anyway, and that's that don't email me asking me to explain the if or the VLOOKUP function, okay? That's too general, and it makes it sound like you haven't done any work, right? Instead, a good email would be, hey, here's this file, right? Attach the file. Here's my file. I'm stuck on this. And that's great. And then I can look at it, and I can hop in there and I can see what's going on with that and send you back a little video explanation, maybe of why you're stuck. But demonstrate that you've really tried to figure this thing out first and that you've done some work. Now, I'm not going to respond well anyway to emails that say, hey, please explain this, because there's plenty of explanation for you out there already. I'm here to help you beyond that. And, let's see. So what are we going to do? You got to understand these skills, right? VLOOKUP and if. That's what we're doing this week. And you definitely want to check and get the feedback from My IT Lab. Earlier in the week, the video that we looked at with reflections and corrections and feedback, we showed you how to do that, right? So you just definitely want to get in there and figure that stuff out and see where you're going wrong so that you can figure out how to go right. And use the reflections and corrections. Resubmit your projects for that better grade, because you can go with the 2 projects, right? The 2 homework projects turned in, get the average of those 2 grades. So use that feedback, get that turned in, get the higher grade, and increase your learning. We have Lab 2 this week. You're going to be showing up to Lab 2. Lab 1 was not challenging at all. We pretty much just did it for you, right? Okay. Lab 2, totally different. You got to bring your A game. You got to practice for this one. It'll be totally different. You're going to sit down and you have to know how to do this stuff. If you show up not knowing how to write an if statement, not knowing how to do VLOOKUP, haven't done the homework prior to that, you're going to be in really bad shape. So you gotta get in there. And then starting next week, in week 3, we're going to start having assigned computers. We'll have assigned computers, and I'll post that in week 3. Last class, we talked about the logical function if, right? And we said that we had a logical statement, and that it was either going to come out as true or false, and then that we could put that statement into the logical if function, and we could have it say, oh, if this is true, then give me this, else give me that. In that example, I said if this is equal to this, right? So, but we've got a bunch of mathematical operators in here, right? We can actually have greater than, less than, and then we've got this weird one here, all right? So there is no button on the keyboard in Excel for greater than or equal to or less than or equal to. So we actually have to do 2 symbols, the greater than and the equal. We got to do them like that, and that's how we do that. And then there's this one here, not equal, all right? So there's no 1 button for that either. That's both of those signs put together. All right, and there's our memory trick, right? If this is true, then do this, else do this other thing. And here it was from our example, right? Our example that we worked in, in class together last time in the demo. And here we go. Here's out of the instructions for the lab prep document. Enter if function C. So you've got to be able to do this when you come into lab. So if you don't remember, review it here in the demo, review it in your homework, get it figured out before you show up for lab.